Rock isn't dead. It's in flux.
Hi, everyone. I'm Britt with Rock and Flux, and I am joined today by Katia of Riot Night. Katia, thank you for being with me here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's talk about Riot Night. It's an event night here in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
And you've been doing that for 7 years now, I think, right?
Yeah, we actually just celebrated our 7-year anniversary on Saturday, this past Saturday. So yeah, 7 whole years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And just give me some background on how you got started doing that. I know, I've seen some of obviously, what you've said about it, but I want to hear in your own words, how you started it and how it's kind of grown to be what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, it was the most organic process ever. It was just me and my buddy from college. His name is Justin Chard. We were kind of sitting around at this bar in Tempe called Devil's Advocate. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I went to ASU.
I feel like I have.
Yeah, it's like a local Arizona State University bar. And we were just talking about how it would be really cool if we could go somewhere right now and listen to like something that isn't top 40 or EDM or country. Because there's like no bars that play like Taking Back Sunday or like Nirvana, like even like anything,
Right.
So we were just kind of sitting around, and then he was managing Rock Bar at the time, which is actually the venue that I work with.
Okay.
And he said, why don't we just pitch an idea to our owner and just kind of see if we could pick a night that's kind of dead, and maybe we can play our Spotify playlist, or at the time, I think it was our Apple. I don't remember what we used 7 years ago.
Pandora.
But I feel like Spotify. Yeah, something like that. Like,
yeah.
Spotify is a lot newer. I might have had Spotify at the time, but
I feel like it was around then, but it wasn't what it is now at all.
Yeah, and
Something
I don't think
like
I
that.
had it then.
Okay.
So like, I think that's like a newer app, but yeah, and it was the owner of the bar, when we talked to him, he was like, our Wednesdays are super dead usually. Can you bring like 25 people? Because like they bring about like throughout the day, like 25 at the time.
Okay.
On a Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, with my friends and his friends together, like, I'm pretty sure we could hit 25. And he's like, it's yours. So we just kind of came up with like 100 songs.
Okay.
And we just hung out at the bar with our friends and drank beers and like just listened to whatever we wanted to. And it kind of grew from there because the owner was like, do you want another Wednesday?
Yeah.
So I think we did like 2 Wednesdays before he offered us like a weekend. Like he was like, because he noticed it was like we were bringing people, and we'd created a Instagram. I worked with like a coworker of mine. We came up with the logo, and it was all just super organic. Like there was no plan. We weren't trying to create a company. We didn't think we'd be working this long. Like didn't think that people that we've had out at the shows would ever be a part of it. It was just like a selfish, we just wanted to be able to listen to Taking Back Sunday somewhere and drink beer. So it was like super, that's literally the started.
Did you expect, I guess, so I mean, you kind of answered it. You didn't expect it to ever turn into what it is. How many people do you get at each night that you have? And how often do you have them? Do you have them once a month, or what's your schedule like?
No, we used to do it. So Justin doesn't work with me anymore. It's just me now.
Okay.
He stepped down after the pandemic. He just kind of wanted to do other things, and we're still great friends. I talk to him all the time. But yeah, he's not a part of it anymore. But wait, what was the question? I'm sorry. I don't know where I got sidetracked.
How often do you have them? So do you have a set schedule, or do you kind of just like base it on when you can get people to host and stuff like that?
Yeah, no. So originally it was like every 6 weeks, which was crazy. And
that's a lot
with the production that I put into it, because I know there's like emo nights that happen all the time, and they're a lot less like production wise, and like travel and all the celebrities that I bring out, or special guests that we have, and artists that we have. Sorry, my dog is like,
oh, it's okay. I'm very dog friendly. I have one around here somewhere. I just don't know where he is. So,
but yeah, now I just do it 4 times a year. So winter, spring, summer, fall. That's how I do it. And this was my fall show. So I'll probably plan something for the winter, probably like February. to take a little time off. And then I'll probably plan on something in like May. And then, just like
kind of probably makes it easier to do like a seasonal aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 6 weeks was crazy and this is much better. But I'm trying to do like smaller shows in between. So I started like Riot Night Presents.
Okay.
And I've been booking tours because like for like this month I have Johnny Craig's coming out. He's doing The Past Should Stay Dead tour. He's booked with me. And then like I'm trying to do like some local stuff, like album release parties, things that are a lot smaller that doesn't involve like the production. And it has nothing to do with like me. Like I'm not going to put my logo up or like my banners up or like anything.
So what made you, I mean, I always liked that style of music too, especially back in the day. And there is that nostalgia for it. But what about, I guess rock music or emo music, whatever you want to call it, that you kind of focus on for these events? Like what about it made you want to listen to it and like do so much around it?
Yeah, I mean, I just grew up listening to heavier music. I don't know exactly when it kind of switched over, but I remember I'd buy like those now you can call CDs. Like what are they called? What were they called? Like now?
Oh, something. Like now that's called music.
Yeah, like, now that's what you call music. Exactly. Yeah. So I would like those, and I was into like a lot of like top 40. I feel like at the time, like I would listen to whatever, but then I think some of it crossed over. Like they would play like Linkin Park on it. They'd put like Sugar Ray. Like they went more like kind of alternative. And I don't know how it kind of switched, but I got really into Linkin Park, Stained, Taproot, Chevelle, like heavier.
You know what I think did it was like TRL, as odd as that sounds, back in the day.
Yeah.
Because like we're probably of a close generational age, and like when I was in high school, that was big, and it was kind of like the pop stuff versus the alt stuff, but it was all on that show, and I bet that's why, because from a pop culture.
I watched TRL every day when I came home from school.
Me too.
And
me too.
I would see like, I don't know. I got into like Korn and like,
me too.
I
new
loved
metal.
Yeah, exactly. I was super into new metal, and then that kind of crossed into, all of a sudden I was listening to like Under Oath, and then I was listening to like Chiodos, and I was listening to Senses Fail and like Silverstein, and those bands, Brand New, Dashboard. Like I got into like the emo, and then I started going to Warped Tour. So yeah, it was like a very it just happened. Like I didn't stay, because I grew up like I remember like my first CD was like Backstreet Boys, right?
Okay.
So like I feel like that was like my first CD, and then like I don't know how, but like with those CDs, because at the time I would go to Tower Records, like that was like what existed for me, and that was like the coolest place on earth. Like my parents, they would drive before I could drive. Like we would go there, and I'd pick a CD, and like my first Limp Bizkit CD was like completely edited. Because it's like the you have to buy, like you have to be over 18 at the time to buy like a explicit record, because they had explicit records at the time. So I just remember like that record, because the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water has so many cuss words in it. So that whole record, I still have it at my house, my parents' house, is just beep, 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 beep. Like it just bleeps the whole album.
Which is horrible. Like they couldn't, do something over it instead. Cause like, that's not as fun.
No. But yeah, I just got into heavy music very organically, and like, I've been going to shows. Even like my mom would take me to festivals, and she, like before I could drive, like when I was 15, I think was my first festival, and she would like sit in the bleachers and like read a book.
That's cool.
And
my dad would do that for me. So it's similar to my story.
My first festival, I think, was HF Festival in DC. So I'm originally from like right outside the Washington, DC area, Northern Virginia.
So I know you had like Mason Musso on. He's been on this show. How do you decide like who to ask, and how did you, start having people come to your events?
Yeah. So I think 7 years ago, we did a couple shows, just me and Justin, and it was just like us and our friends.
Yeah.
And I believe our first guest, and I could be wrong, I haven't thought about this in a long time, was Zach Hansen and Eric Lambert. Zach Hansen's from The Word Alive, Eric Lambert from Bless the Fall, and they both live here in Phoenix.
Okay, cool.
And they're actually friends of Justin's. They would come into Rock Bar, grab drinks with him because Justin was managing bartending at the time.
Okay.
So I think Justin kind of like brought up the idea, said we'd give him like a couple $100 and like some free drinks.
Yeah.
And it was super like, yeah, it was just that. It was just like they just came from, they live here, they Ubered out.
Nice.
If there was even Uber at the time. I don't know, but I don't know. So
I don't know.
Started. But yeah, they came out. We just kind of played, we did the same thing. It was just like me and Justin plus them.
Okay.
And we made like a flyer. So like that was our first. And I think our first real guest was Emery. They were on tour and they played the Nile, I think.
Okay.
And we asked them if they wanted to come do an after party with us because they were here in Phoenix and play like maybe a few songs acoustic. I think they came in. It was super cool. They played like 4 songs and then they DJ'd. And that was our like first guest that we didn't know.
Yeah.
Eric and Zach were friends with Justin at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just kind of like built like a resume through that. Like the next one was, I think it was Ben Bruce from Asking Alexandria and Matt Good from First to Last. They both live here in Phoenix too, and they were people that kind of came into Rock Bar. Because Rock Bar at the time, I know it's changed a lot now. They play a lot more like current music and they've become more young. But at the time, they were playing a lot of rock, metal.
Yeah. And that's still where you have all the events, right? You still have all of them at Rock Bar, or do you change it up where you have them?
So I've worked with Crescent, Valley Bar, and the Van Buren, but I always just come back to Rock Bar. It's just my home. I know it. It's easy. The whole staff helps me. When I start working with other venues, it just gets harder because I don't have like a crew.
Right.
And like at Rock Bar, it's like they're all in there to support me and help me. And yeah, everybody's there for me. So it's a great venue.
Are you like doing this pretty much by yourself now? Like no help at all?
Yeah. I mean, so the show, during the show, like the day of is like, I have a lot of friends and then the whole staff
that's nice
on deck for me. Okay. But all of the leading up and all of the like project planning and like getting the artists, working with managers, agents, sponsors, travel, guarantees, that's all me. And then I kind of put the show together. And then the day of when everyone comes in, I have like 3 security guards that kind of help me set up.
Okay.
I have my friends help me with merch. I have people that are just constantly making sure everything's like the bar manager makes sure everything's set, like drink specials, etc. So the day of, I have a lot of help. But leading up, it's just me. Yeah.
So you pay for like if someone has to travel out, you pay for them to like you take care of all that and stuff for them, or how does that work? I've never even thought about all that, those elements of all that stuff.
It's expensive. And that's why I've only made it to 4 a year because it just helps me plan it and like with the tickets, make sure ticket sales come in because I don't have the upfront money. Like I wish I did. I'm not a rich person. So literally every single ticket that's sold and every single piece of merch that's sold, it goes straight into who we can bring out. And like, depending on the budget is what I can offer. So, yeah, I mean, if I want to get into like getting like a simple plan or like, the used or like start to kind of get bigger and like more, celebrity-esque, like Kellen Quinn's or Vic Fuentes's, like, that just means I need to get more funding. So like I just base the ticket off of that. And then I bake the travel hotels,
into that.
alcohol that they want. There's so much that goes into it. There's
Yeah,
so
see,
much
people don't realize that, but yeah, there really are a lot of logistics. So I don't blame you for only doing that 4 times a year, because I can't even imagine every 6 weeks. That'd be crazy.
No, and like it got too hard, so I just stopped doing
Right.
that. And
Well,
I'd rather do it bigger than just
but
do
you know,
it,
good for you for keeping with it, because it's so easy to just be like, it's too much. I've got to, stop doing it. But it shows that like you really love doing what you're doing with it, And I think that speaks to it too. I think that matters for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So.
and I have this like mindset where, because I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I have this mindset where like if I break even, I feel like I won, because it's like I just threw like an epic party.
Yeah.
And like everyone got paid and everything went smooth.
Right.
That's not a very good business mindset. I'm trying to get out of it because I want to have this become like residual income, and I would like this to become successful. But yeah, like there have been shows that I've lost a lot of money and I've had to pull out of my rent, like
wow. Yeah.
I have had bad turnouts and I have overpromised and I have tried. So now that I do a lot of negotiating now, whereas like year 1, 2, and 3, I think I was just so stoked that these guys would like even respond to me.
Right.
That like they would throw out this like absurd number and I'd be like, let's get it. Let's go. Like, I want you to come. Yeah. Like that'd be so sick. But it's not, they're not, a lot of the times, like that's not what they're worth. And they overthrow just to get people like me to say yes, So like I've developed a little bit of an understanding of what it should cost. And if someone's super like, you are way lowballing me, it's just not for me, because I can't like, then maybe in the future, I'll always be like, what if we can do this some other time, like when you're feeling, or maybe if I have a bigger venue at some point, like, I don't know.
No, I mean I think it's tough, but I also think like anymore, and maybe it's because of social media, but I feel like people are more willing to like do things that like without necessarily the cost, like getting the money, like, or trying to like get a whole ton for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like anymore, it's like any opportunity people have to get fans in a place, they're usually going to do it nowadays.
Yeah. And I've literally like, I won't name any names, but I've literally only had like maybe a couple people that have just been like horrible, that like I probably won't work with ever again.
Right.
And that I know kind of just screwed me. And like, but for the most part, everyone's been amazing. Like I loved creating these connections, and a lot of my guests now are repeats because they have so much fun. They'll come back. Like I try to keep it as professional and as fun for them as possible. And like, I want to create that party like for them. I'm like throwing them a party, and like your fans are there for you, and you're in a really dive bar intimate space. There's no barricades. They're basically in the bar hanging out, grabbing drinks in the booths, and you can take pictures with them at your own leisure.
But that's
or whatever.
Fun. Like I think that's the fun element of it. And I feel like there is a level of pretension that anymore is not, it's just not there as much, I think. And I don't know if it's because like people are so accessible now. I don't know. But, I personally think that's better. It's the same, like, because I deal with some of the same stuff on this show, and I've had a couple that I'm like, I'm never having you back on here again.
Dude, I know. And it's far and few in between, but when you get one of those, it's just like, dude, that sucks. Like you just spent so much money or like time, and like, and it's like, that sucks. And I loved you like growing up. And,
I know.
Like,
well, that's the worst part about
heroes.
It. Right.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. Cause it's like, now I can't even listen to you because you're a jerk and I know it. So.
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
So let me ask you this. Is your favorite stuff to listen to still all of those older bands? Or like, do you have any newer stuff that you like to listen to now?
I'm all over the place. I try to And I think this is what makes Spotify so cool. And I'm not very familiar with Apple Music because I don't have it, but I think it's the same thing where you can kind of like follow an artist and it will curate playlists for you.
Yeah.
So you can like, I don't know, just like pick like Census Fail Radio or something, and like it'll bring up a bunch of new kids, you know.
I even like those daily mix, the daily mix playlist that Spotify does. They do a really good job. I listen to those, I think, more than I listen to my own playlist nowadays.
No, those are awesome. And then recommended for you.
Yeah.
Like that one. Like that one, I get a lot of new stuff. No, I listen to everything. I can't think of off the top of my head who I'm right now. Like, I think the newest band that I'm jamming that's like sick is Sleep Token. I'm obsessed with them.
They're great.
I love them so much. And then the new Beartooth's really good. So, I mean, I listen to everything. Like, I just went 2 weeks ago to Michelle Branch. Like, I listen to everything. So, like,
as a nostalgia one.
Yeah, I'm not like stuck in emo, screamo, metalcore. Like, I'll listen to everything.
Well, let me ask you this now. So, I mean, I feel like the metal from when we were younger, and like even the emo stuff that came out and new metal, I feel like the newest type of metal music is like, I feel like it's different than what it ever was before because it's so much more polished sounding, for lack of a better word. So how do you feel about that? Because I don't know how I feel about it. Some of it I like, and some of it I'm like, I don't know. It needs some mistakes in there or something. I don't know.
Like, yeah, it's like overproduced.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not like a musical technician. Like, I'm not a producer. I'm not a mixer. And like, so I can't speak to that. I'm sure that there are artists like the old school OGs that like hate it. And they have like a lot of like say on that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the dirtier, like grittier, more like raw of the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was like what I fell in love with, like the heaviness of it, you know?
Yeah.
And going to a show and it's just like sweaty and just crazy. And
it's true.
I feel like everything's a lot more reserved now and like no moshing and like, you know, like
it's true.
It was so crazy before when you would go to a festival. And I know that it still is. Like, I know some of these bigger festivals, it's still kind of crazy.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I mean, kids are just like on TikTok now producing in their rooms. Like, they're not in studios. They're not even full bands. Like, some kids are doing every instrument and then they're sampling from apps and like, it's just a different time. So I don't know.
But I don't know. I think they also like, there is that nostalgia that's coming. And I feel like the resurgence of like the 90s and even some of the early 2000s that's coming back, I think it'll affect it. But like some of those kids are like CDs. What are those? Like, I've never listened to a CD. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's all the streaming, which is great. I love that. But like, what you were saying earlier that you used to go to Tower Records, like think about when we were kids, sometimes you just see like an album cover and you'd be like, I want to listen to that and see what it sounds like. They don't have that anymore. So even how they find music is different, you know, like kids started listening to Metallica because of a Netflix show, you know?
Yeah, no, it was like an experience for me. Like, you browse, you open the CD up, you take the little paper out, you read the lyrics, you look at the photos, like you learn the songs by reading the CDs. And like, there weren't like lyric videos and things like that. I mean, maybe there were, but like, I don't know. I just remember learning things from my CDs and yeah, and it was like a whole experience because you would go in there and Tower Records was really cool. I mean, it's like that, like epitome record, like Amoeba, I feel like record store where you can get vinyl, CDs. Yeah. They would have like little like characters that you could like buy. Like I bought a bunch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like little figurines from there. Yeah. They had comic books. They had posters you could buy. They had t-shirts, merch, like basically when you went into Tower Records, you're like an hour of browsing. Like for me, I would just go from like one side to the next. I'd look at CDs and I'd be like, I'm going to go look at the posters and like, but yeah, no, I mean I still like Zia's here. I go sometimes. Like I miss that.
I haven't
kind
been
of
to that one.
nostalgic.
I need to
You should
check it
you
out.
Should.
Yeah.
You definitely should.
I've heard, what's the other one? Stinkweeds? I think that's another one here. I haven't been there either.
Been there, but I've been to the main one, Amoeba, in San Francisco.
Okay.
And that's like huge.
Okay.
That really reminds me of Tower Records whenever I go there. I think there's one in LA as well, but definitely San Francisco.
Yeah, it's just the nostalgia. But I mean, I do think I think it's cool that you're doing the events that you're doing and having the bands and the music that you're having, because I'm sure there are times where like younger people come in there and hear that stuff, because like, I mean, when were 21-year-olds born? I don't even know if I want to think about it, but like we're in 2023, so late 90s, you know?
Wait, 2023, wouldn't it be like 2001?
It would be 2000. Oh yeah, you're right. 2001. So yeah, I was in high school in 2001. Yeah. My math isn't very good.
I don't know who my demographic is. That's a really good question. Like, I don't know. I know that I see a lot of repeat people. Like, I know that good. I've seen people that have been coming since the beginning. I know a lot of my friends come still just for me, though. I'm pretty sure you've been to one Riot Night. You've been to like all of them. But there are people that come out, and there are a lot of new faces. Like even the show on Saturday, there was so many people that I didn't know, but I don't know what like my age gap is. Like I don't know if there's like a bunch of 21-year-olds or if they're all like 31-year-olds or if they're 41-year-olds. Like
it's hard to tell nowadays too, though. I feel like I can't tell people's ages because everyone's kind of all over the board.
Literally, it's the scariest thing ever. Some of these like young girls look like they're like 30. So like, it's just like crazy.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you saw that. I think it's a TikTok video, but it's like, it shows the two high school girls dancing today. And then it's like me and my sister in my computer room, like 2007 or something like that. And it's like, yeah, that is me. And like, it is amazing the difference that they look now to when I was that age. It's crazy.
There are some like 19-year-olds that I literally think could be 27 or 28. Yeah. Like they could be 10 years older, especially like with all this like just like access to filler and stuff and like makeup and like all this. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but
I don't either.
I don't know what ages are anymore. And
no, I don't either. I don't even pretend to try to figure it out. So
yeah, I don't know if we have young people at the show. I really don't know. Probably. I would
assume so. I would assume so. I'm going to say you do. Well, let me ask you this. So you've been doing this for 7 years. Do you have like highlights or an absolute like favorite moment or favorite show memory of all of it?
Favorite show memory.
Or any good stories of like something that went wrong. That's always a good one.
Something went wrong. Something that went wrong.
You can do favorite or something that went wrong. I tend to remember things that go wrong more than I do things that go right.
I feel like I black those out. Like I just want that
memory
something
gone.
That went wrong. Justin would be so good to ask this question. I think in the beginning, maybe like I would just say there was more of like less professionalism because I thought of it as like such a party. And like I said, it started as just like two friends from college that wanted to drink beer and listen to Taking Back Sunday is literally what it was. That I couldn't separate the actual importance of me being aware of what's happening. So like paying people out on time, making sure I've counted everything, making sure that security, like if there's, when you have 350 people in a room, like so many things can go wrong.
Oh yeah.
And now I have some drinks during the show, but it's like a totally different thing, right? Because it's like I feel like before the DJ sets, I would be super out of it. Yeah, I think a lot of the beginning would probably just be being too inebriated and like partying and like being on stage, like jumping around, being crazy and just like, Best experiences. I think just creating the relationships. Like, I just had Maddie Mullins from Memphis Mayfire out for the 4th time, and
cool.
we've actually become really good friends. Like, whenever he plays, we hang out. Like, he'll hook me up to come backstage and hang out with him. So I think it's like developing those relationships. Now I have these people that I grew up listening to as like someone I can hang out with and text. And like Aaron Gillespie from Under Oath. Under Oath was like the first band that really got me into this kind of music. That record, They're Only Chasing Safety, was such a huge album for me. And then having him come out and do the show was just like insane. So like for me, it's just kind of the best part about it is being able to meet these people and then having them live up to that, and then like developing those relationships. And then it's kind of like I'm throwing a party for myself. Like, it's like I never throw a show that I wouldn't attend. So I kind of build it around like what I would like. And obviously I'm thinking of other people. Like, I'm not just like, it's not just me, but like,
I do the same thing for this show though. Like, I wouldn't have a band that I can't stand the music on. Yeah, exactly. You know?
So that's what, like, a lot of my friends are like, you should bring in these like newer, I'm not talking shit.
No, I know what you mean.
Newer like emo rappers, or like whatever is going on right now that's like big, that's kind of like emo but like young.
Yeah,
I don't know. And I could maybe bring one, but I'm just like an OG elder emo person. So like for me, it's like I'll bring them out, but I'm gonna stand and I won't know any of the words. I don't know who they are.
Right.
I just paid them. I like no idea who you are. Or I could work with like Silverstein, or like you could work with like Craig Owens from Chiodos, which is like, or Thursday, or like all these bands that Mayday Parade is a huge band that I love. I just had Derek out, and like those are like more memories for me because I'll always remember that. And then I think I can see people enjoy it as well. I don't mind considering incorporating newer things, but I feel like I probably won't ever book someone. I just
you're staying true to yourself, you know, which I think is important. I do. So
I don't. Yeah, it's not like selling out, but it's kind of like selling out. I don't know. It's like who knows? One day I might eat my words tomorrow and bring
you never
in
know.
Someone that's brand new. So like, an emo rapper.
Oh boy. I don't know. I think I might draw the line there for myself.
For us, though.
But you never know. You never know. Well, Katia, thank you for coming on. It's been fun. We have similar glasses on. People can't see, but we do.
These are my computer, just like as many shields from the computer screen as possible.
Yes, I hear you. So we are
it
right
was
there.
Such a pleasure.
Yes, definitely. Thank you again. And one of these days I'll make it out to one of those.
Please let me know. Hit me up. I will hook you up, whatever you want. If there's one that you really want to attend, let me know. I
here. Will. Thank you.
Cool. Thank
everyone
you for thinking of me for this.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone check out Riot Night. It's at Riot Night on Instagram. Is that your handle on there?
Yes, at Riot Night on Instagram, Riot Night on Facebook, and then I think it's Riot Night Phoenix for TikTok and Twitter.
Very nice. Everybody check them out when you have a chance. And thank you again, Katia.
Thank you.